This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you by Out of the Box Technology. Out of the Box Technology is your partner in accounting data services. With over 7,500 industry migrations performed and an expansive network of third-party integrations, a partnership with Out of the Box will augment your advisory practice and turbocharge client accounting operations. Visit outoftheboxtechnology.com/insightful-accountant to get started. Welcome to another episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast. My name is Gary DeHart. I am the host of Accounting Insiders podcast, as well as the publisher and managing partner of Insightful Accountant and Tax Practice News. So in today's episode, I have the founder and CEO of Clockwork.ai, Fady Hawatmeh. I got it right, both start and finish. He's going to join me. And again, we're going to talk about AI. And did I say Clockwork.ai? Because that's officially the company name, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about Clockwork.ai and exactly what Clockwork does, because you're a fairly new company for me to have exposure to. And so we certainly want our audience to understand who it is and what you guys do. Talk a little bit about the product, a little bit about the company, a little bit about your background, but then just about AI in general and how you're seeing it directly impact the accounting profession, which is, again, our customer base or our reader base and your customer base. So welcome. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to hop on and have a conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Excited for it.
Yeah, and so and again, we were just talking beforehand. You got the Blue Angels over your shoulder, and you said you worked with them. You're with Boeing. Is that how'd you get into Clockwork.ai from Boeing?
Yeah, so Boeing was my first job out of college. I graduated with finance and accounting, and I grew up in an entrepreneur family. My dad owned restaurants, and I was always told, "You're not going to run the restaurants. Go and get a real job." And so I went and got a real job at Boeing, but the plan was always to start my own company. And after Boeing, I actually went into oil and gas consulting for a smaller boutique consulting firm. And then after that, I started an outsourced CFO consulting firm myself.
Okay.
And that's where Clockwork came from. So I ran that firm for about 4 years, scaled it up, had 8 employees and, hundreds of clients. But the one thing that I was living in was spreadsheets. And I was like, man, there's nothing in this market that actually does what I needed to do to provide advisory services for my clients without me having to spend a bunch of time and money in it. So, the old saying, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And
Right.
that's where Clockwork came from.
And when was that? When was that transition?
2018.
Okay. So
Yeah.
about 5 years in. And
Yeah.
so and I'm not a tech background guy. So 5 years ago with AI,
Yeah.
were you talking about AI 5 years ago?
Yeah, so we literally pioneered AI in the FP&A space. We were the first one, because when I started Clockwork, it was Clockwork.ai. Our domain was Clockwork.ai from day one.
Okay.
And people looked at me like I was crazy when I told them about AI financial modeling, AI financial projections, AI cash flow forecasting. And they're basically all were like, there's no way that's possible. There's no way you can do that. That I don't care how good the technology is, you can't do it. And I'm like, yeah, you can, and we'll show you it.
Let me prove it.
Yeah. And so we definitely started that from day one and really redefined what that looked like. And now the market has finally caught up to it, which is phenomenal. And
Yep.
it's allowed us to be significantly ahead of anyone else in the space trying to add AI now, whereas for us, our AI was at the core of our build out.
Okay. And it's so do you have just a natural bend yourself towards technology, or did you just have to find the right partners, or what's that connection?
Yeah, all my clients were tech companies,
Okay.
and I actually was the CFO, COO of a tech company as well. And so I've been heavily ingrained in the tech world since, I mean, literally since I was at Boeing. Essentially, I was learning all the new technologies at Boeing that they were adopting, and I've always been a very, very tech focused, tech forward thinker. And Clockwork it just made all the sense in the world, even though I don't have a technical background. I know enough about technology to be dangerous, and
Right.
found the right people and built it out.
And know which questions to ask. And then with the accounting background, you know which where the holes are and where the gaps are. Right.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
GAPS, not to be confused with GAAPS, right?
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
little accounting humor right there,
I
right?
love that.
High level, what is Clockwork AI?
Yeah, so Clockwork AI is for firms committed to advisory services. Clockwork is the FP&A software that gets clients results in minutes because it was built for professionals by professionals.
Okay. And then FP&A is financial planning and analysis, right?
Yeah.
And just what I always like to make sure, because I don't know who's listening, right? So it's always good to make
Yeah.
sure we've got a baseline, definition. And so, so your direct customers you were sharing with me previous are the accounting firms. You're not out
Yep.
really dealing with the end user or the small business, medium-sized businesses.
Exactly. Yeah, we work directly with accounting firms and offer Clockwork for their clients.
Okay.
And I mean, firms are generating 30% more revenue from using Clockwork and saving north of 10 hours a month per client.
Okay.
So it's a pretty significant value add right out of the box. There's no implementation, and so that's why we spend all of our time partnering with accounting firms, because we have the playbook for advisory leveraging technology, and we've seen just ridiculous results with clients, and we absolutely loved it. We'll love doubling down on it.
Yeah, that's great. So do you have like training programs for the accounting firms? Then are they also teaching their end clients, or are they really just saying, all right, we have the data, they're running reports and using your tool, running reports, and then taking them to the clients?
Yeah, so our accounting partner program is called the Clockwork Champions Program.
Okay.
And so every single accountant that partners with us actually gets a dedicated Clockwork coach, and we put them through Clockwork University. So Clockwork's platform, and I said Clockwork like 10 times in 30 seconds there, but our platform is very robust. It's legitimately what a CFO would provide, an experienced CFO would provide. And so when you think about FP&A, it's not just a financial model. It's not just a cash flow forecast. And that's a lot of what was missing in the market, was a solution that was an FP&A tool A to Z. And that's what Clockwork is. Clockwork looks at the company as a whole and manages and plans and predicts the company's finances and cash flow as a whole.
Okay.
And so our training program is really dedicated and customized for the accounting firm, the types of clients they have. And we'll actually host a Clockwork University kickoff, and then we'll actually host office hours where a lot of our partners will actually invite clients onto the call with our team, because we have a very active partnership, right? We do co-branded marketing material for all of our firms. We help them support and train their clients. We want to be the Clockwork professionals and allow the accountants to be advisors. And so it's not a software that people just sign up and then they have to kind of figure it out themselves or pay us a ridiculous amount of money to train them on. It really is a tight-knit white glove service partnership, where we make sure that everyone has all the keys to success of really growing the advisory services.
Okay. And tell me the name of the partner program one more time. I just want to make sure I've got that right.
Yeah, the Clockwork Champions Program.
Champions Program. And then can you dive a little bit more into that? Is it more than so I know some programs like that just within the space. Some of them offer, commissions or a percentage or, finder's fees or what have you. And actually we're going to want to do an edit piece on your partner program anyway, just to kind of, because we have it, I can't remember, it's called Alliance. Gosh, I haven't written one in a while, but basically where we just take a look at partner programs and say, hey, here's the program. It's free. It costs money. Here's what you get from using it. So the high level main points of the partner program
is you get priority support.
Okay.
You get priority training. You get your dedicated Clockwork coach for your account. You get wholesale pricing for all of your clients, and that's dependent on how many clients you put on the platform.
Okay.
It's a tiered partner program. So you actually, the more clients you put on, the more your perks you get from
Okay.
better pricing, better training. We actually do a lot of the co-branded marketing material that I was mentioning, where we'll actually generate one pagers, we'll host webinars, we'll have you on my podcast, and do a lot of co-hosted marketing material for the firm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the other aspect of it is you actually get insights into the product roadmap. So our product is by far the most advanced and simplest to use, but the only reason it's that way is because we listen to our partners, we listen to our customers, we listen to our users. And as a Clockwork champion, you get direct insight into our roadmap over the next 6 months,
Okay.
and you can even influence some of the features that we're building out.
Okay, fantastic. So what about success stories? Have you seen any, do you have any that you can just pull out, names or no names? So
Yeah.
up to you, just where you've seen, hey, this company wasn't using a tool like this, and now they, or this firm, and now they are, and here's the results they've seen.
Yeah. Probably the most significant one that comes to mind is Reconciled. Firm Reconciled, run by phenomenal entrepreneur and now friend, Michael Lee. Phenomenally successful firm. They were on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies 2 years in a row. And we got connected a couple of years ago, and they weren't using any solution. They weren't using any software for their thing. And they had a growing advisory practice where they were stuck in Excel and they were stuck in spreadsheets, and they couldn't scale it, but then they also couldn't find enough people to hire to build those models the way that they needed to be built. And so we started working with them, and within 3 months, they increased their advisory services revenue by 30%, and they were saving over 120 hours a month.
Wow.
From starting. And they've been working with us now for almost a year and a half, just about. And I mean, absolute phenomenal partner. We've released so many updates in the product based on what they were asking for. And I mean, we are now a part of their onboarding practice, onboarding sequence for every net new client. So we actually have a free tier, Clockwork
Okay.
Free, and Clockwork Free is the upsell vehicle for all non-advisory clients. And so Reconciled actually has every single one of their clients that's not advisory on the Clockwork Free tier, which gives
Okay.
them all the AI projections, the AI cash flow forecasts, AI metrics completely for free. And then it allows their advisory team to have conversations of upselling them very, very quickly. And that's when they turn them on to a paid license. And so that's really been game changing for us as well as them.
And so as a firm can bring on, let's say if I have 100 clients, I mean, a firm can bring on one client or just client by client. Is that how that
Yeah.
works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then my tiers increase based on the number of clients that I bring on. Okay. And
Exactly.
then, so let's switch away from, Clockwork. And I think we've done a pretty good job of laying out what it is you guys do, and how accounting professionals could be and should be leveraging tools like this to grow their business. I mean, ultimately, it gives them the insight for their customers quickly and in a format. I don't think you've said this, but on the website, in a format that's easily digestible, I think is the
Yeah.
best way for me to put it. So AI, everybody's talking about AI. You've been there since from the start, basically, right?
Yeah.
And it's rapidly changing, rapidly evolving. But I think most people, just from conversations, have heard of it, know basically what it is. Um, Probably have limited exposure to the fact that Chat GPT only goes back to 2021 or whatever it is now. What are some instances, just generally speaking, not in FP&A, but where you've seen, or have you seen other accounting firms using AI in other segments of their business? Have you seen that anywhere?
Yeah. I think one of the most significant areas that AI has really, really revolutionized is the transactional type commoditized activities like bookkeeping, updating actuals, that kind of thing. There's been a massive push of leveraging AI on that side to allow these firms to kind of move up the value chain when it comes to delivering services for their clients. So that's been a massive, massive shift. But I think one of the most important things for accounting firms is right now, everyone is saying that they're doing AI. Everyone is saying that they're slapping AI at the back of their name and saying, we're AI. And I think there's been an overpopulation. And so it's kind of caused a little bit of analysis paralysis for a lot of the firms that are out there where, it's very key to be hyper aware of what type of AI companies and firms need to leverage, as well as what tasks is it safe to leverage on and not safe to leverage on.
Okay. Yeah. And I think there's also just that, I'm already working, X number of hours a week. Am I really going to spend the time to figure out how to leverage this? I'm a two-person shop. Who's going to go figure out how to use AI, right? I can't spend 22 hours this week learning how to use it. But I think you have any recommendations on the process to learn how to use the tools, like an AI type tool?
Yeah, my simplest is if you get anxiety from learning how to use a tool, they probably don't use AI. I think that's one of the most important things about leveraging AI is AI is supposed to be simple to use. There shouldn't be any complexities. And if the company doesn't have resources behind it very, very quickly to show you how to leverage it in a very easy way, that probably isn't the right partner. I think one of the things that we're coming across now is Clockwork's plug and play, right? Within 3 minutes, you're done. There's no crazy onboarding implementation. We're seeing a lot of other softwares that are out there. They're like, oh yeah, you'll be implemented within 30 days. Like, first off, no one has 30 days to implement a technology. And chances are that's probably not real AI because AI should be plug and play.
Okay.
And it should be simple.
Yes. And so what outside of your business, where do you use AI personally?
I use AI in marketing and in sales a lot. So any kind of emails, any kind of marketing campaigns that we want to run, we actually use for content as well. There's really a lot of really great companies around content generation. And for us, content is king. We have been a thought leader in this space for a long time. I've been a thought leader in this space for a long time. And so we generate a lot of AI, but the AI has a lot to learn from the stuff that we give it. And so we're not really depending on OpenAI for it, but it's learning a lot from the existing content that we've done, and it can actually take that and move it forward. So, it's actually a lot simpler to leverage AI on that stuff that's not necessarily heavy. Like when you're talking about accounting and finance tasks, like a cash flow forecast, that's kind of heavy. But when you're talking about a marketing email or, a brochure or a webinar, that's pretty light and it's pretty easy to get and leverage AI for.
And I'm not a big leverager. Is that a word? I have not leveraged AI a lot myself. We'll go that way. So I'm going to show a little bit of ignorance on my side, and that is all right. So we have AI. I've heard of Chat GPT, which I think is owned by OpenAI. Is that how that? Is that the structure there? And is that owned by, is that Google or Microsoft? Are they one of the big guys own?
They invested pretty heavily into it. Google did, yeah.
Okay. And so when we talk about leveraging an AI tool, how many tools are there? Again, ChatGPT is the one that a year and a half ago, everybody knew the name. I'm sure there's others, but are there? And what are they?
Yeah, there are a ton. And that's the dangerous thing is there are a ton, but the very key thing is to understand what type of AI you want to use, right? For like ChatGPT, OpenAI is actually, now they've dubbed it as OpenAI, where it's open source. It means that it sucks in information from every single place that it can.
Okay.
And there are other aspects of AI, like machine learning, which is what Clockwork was built on. We learn based on user inputs and the closed data set. So Clockwork integrates with QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and Xero. We learn based on that specific data set for that specific company, plus whatever user variables they introduce. That's how the system gets smart. So it's a very controlled set of AI.
Okay.
When you have OpenAI, you have ChatGPT, and you have, I mean, there's literally thousands of new ones coming up every day. They depend on all the data that exists in the world, in the public data, in the public domain, and that's where you can get kind of dangerous in using that, because there's a lot of data that's out there that's wrong, simply wrong. I mean,
Right.
Wikipedia, you can literally Wikipedia a full article and it doesn't have to be true. And you can edit
Right.
things that doesn't have to be true, but it exists in the market. And that kind of stuff gets ingested by those OpenAI solutions. So it's very key to understand like exactly what you want out of a system, and not just kind of take it because everyone's talking about it.
Okay. That's actually a really good bit of information. I'm glad I showed my ignorance because now I learned something. So
Awesome.
never hurts to learn something. So so I'll keep on that kind of on that vein. So when you have a marketing um, something for marketing that you're putting together, are you what are you using? What tool is it?
Jasper is one.
Okay.
Jasper.ai. Super, super easy to use, super
Mhm.
easy to get up and running. Um, yeah, Jasper is definitely, and it's a fellow Boston company as well. So, but they've been on it for a while, and there's a couple other softwares that are on the sales side, like Sales Loft, and a few of those that have AI capabilities that have been built on in the recent months since AI absolutely blew up. Um, and as well as HubSpot, they have certain AI capabilities and understandings in the product as well.
Okay. Is so as you and you mentioned another Boston company when we were before we started recording, you had mentioned currently Chicago but moving to Boston.
Yeah.
And when is that taking place? Is that in process now?
Yeah, literally right now. So we've actually opened up our office in Boston last month, and
Okay.
so building out the team there. We have 3 people, 4 people starting in Boston within the next month, and continue to build that out. I think one of the things that we learned that's going to drive for our most success is having a hybrid working solution and a working environment, and being in office. And I absolutely love Boston as a city and the
Mhm.
ecosystem that they have for startups and venture-backed companies, and the technology talent is there. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
Hmm. Okay. Now, are you relocating yourself?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm packing up and moving, and probably Q1, late Q1, early Q2, and I'll be officially 100% in Boston.
Okay. Well, great. Well, good luck with that move.
Yeah.
What else have we not touched on? I think you did say in passing about you said you work with desktop, QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, and Zero.
And Zero, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
We
it
also
right now.
Yeah, for an accounting system, and then we also integrate with all the major payroll providers. So Gusto, ADP, Paychex, Paylocity, Paycor, like there's like 38 of them, or some good number of all the major payroll providers that we actually
Okay.
integrate with as well, and pull in individual employee data for companies to do all their headcount planning and all that, all just within the single source of truth. And that's really the kind of the real power behind Clockwork, is it really is the single source of truth for the companies.
Okay. And so now we're going to bounce back to products because what you just said made me think of something. Um, and that, what I'd like us to do is I'd love to get us to reschedule just something different and just have a demo where it's truly all right, I'm an accounting firm. Here's my client. I'm assuming you have like some demo data, but
Yeah.
and show how this tool or this type of tool can really be leveraged. Here's tier one. Here, maybe not tier might not be the right way, but
Yeah.
here's your entry level way that you go to your client. Here's as you get deeper with your client, or here's how you upsell your client. I'm showing
Hmm.
you this, but here's what it could be. I'd really like to see that and share that with people too. Um, but if I'm using a tool like Clockwork, am I in a Clockwork interface or am I in my QuickBooks Online accountant file?
Yeah, you're in the Clockwork interface. So
Okay.
Clockwork, we're certified app partners with QuickBooks and Xero. So you can access Clockwork through your QuickBooks Online portal.
Okay.
But everything will live uh, on the Clockwork side for multiple reasons. One of the biggest things is security. And so accountants actually have a dashboard in Clockwork that's
Okay.
like kind of their login portal. Like when you log into QuickBooks Online, it'll show you all the clients you have access to, and then you'll select which one you want to go into. Exact same functionality that we have on our side. So you can have 100 clients on Clockwork. You log in with your one login, and it'll show you all 100, and then you'll select which one you want to go into. Um, and we're actually releasing consolidated forecasting,
Okay.
which is complete. I mean, literally no one else in the market has it. It's always been kind of the holy grail that everyone's been chasing, and we've figured out a way to really nail it down. Where now companies can literally consolidate 5 different QuickBooks Online or Xero files together, and they can have a holistic view to see where their clients stand and what those decisions look like and what their cash forecast looks like
Okay.
across multiple entities, across multiple files. And that takes a couple minutes to get set up as well. And that's all
Okay.
done from the same dashboard.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. This really is my last thing I want to talk about. And that is, so again, accounting professionals are our audience, whether they're bookkeepers
Mhm.
or CPA, QuickBooks for advisors, tax professionals. Um, so they're all numbers people. They're all, you know, I can't say all, but large majority are likely tech, at least somewhat forward.
Mhm.
And they should all be using a tool like this. What do you think prevents them from using it? And how can they, what prevents the masses from using a tool like this? And how can they kind of start making that transition to embrace a tool like this?
The number one thing is fear. Everyone's always afraid of adopting something new. They don't know if they have enough time. They don't know if their clients will use it. They don't know how their team is going to use it. They don't know how intense it's going to be to learn it. A lot of people have just a lot of insecurities of adopting something new, especially now with how it's just absolutely blown up in this entire industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one advice on anyone is it's literally free. So you're not going to lose anything. Just start using something. There's no reason to be afraid. Your clients are always going to ask for more. I think one of the biggest things that I learned when I was running my outsourced CFO firm is I was always so scared to approach my clients with anything new because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, maybe they won't pay me, maybe they won't pay for it, or maybe they're going to fire me and they're going to go to someone else. And I would always have these insecurities on like, my clients won't do it. My clients won't do it. But then when I started doing it, you very quickly see clients will listen to
Mm-hmm.
you and they will take your recommendation. And, you may lose some clients, but your chances are for every one client you're going to lose, you're going to sign 5 more because you're doing something cutting edge. And that was really a big difference maker for me when I was an outsourced CFO. And that's really how we work with a lot of our partners now is we have some partners that are literally bookkeepers and they've been bookkeepers for 15, 20 years. And they're like, well, my client base doesn't support it. I can't do it. Da, da, da. It's like, yeah, you can, and we'll show you how. And they transform their firm literally overnight
Hmm.
into an advisory practice.
That's interesting. So, and that's a bookkeeping firms, not CPA firms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because yeah, because it's always seemed that's the ones to me, the bookkeepers are the ones that always have seemed to me to undersell themselves as far as
Yes.
their capabilities and their knowledge base and their willingness to charge more or to ask for more because they're doing so much more service.
Yeah.
So, well, great. Well, maybe we can get a demo on place and then we can show some bookkeepers and other accounting professionals, what and why they should be leveraging a tool like this. And
Yeah.
so that'd be great. So we'll see if we
Yeah.
can get that
Would
on the
love to.
schedule.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts? Oh, my last closing thought is how do people find you? And are you going to any events this year in the 2024 calendar?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And they can find Clockwork at clockwork.ai or clockwork.ai.com. And we're going to be at Scaling New Heights. We have a booth there. We're going to be at ZeroCon, and we're going to be at QuickBooks Connect. Those are going to be the three main ones, and then a couple sprinkled in between.
More those like more local ones, or
So
like
just
ones
some
in
of the
between?
smaller ones, like Bridging
Yeah.
the Gap.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be going to there, and a couple of the smaller events.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, we'll certainly be at those three you named. Who knows, might run into you somewhere else too. But like I said
Yeah.
before, if you're in the Atlanta area, give me a shout. If I make my way up to Boston, which would not dare do that for at least another 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm Southern,
Yeah.
so we don't travel north, unlike the birds and flying south. So, but I certainly appreciate your time. It was great getting to know you, and appreciate the information, and look forward to again connecting with you again, and just have a little product demo so we can share with people what exactly this type of tool does and why they should be leveraging it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This was an absolute pleasure.
Great. We'll talk to you very soon. Thank
All
you.
right. Sounds great. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
This episode of the Accounting Insiders Podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accountinginsiders to learn more.